If you've traveled and paid for a plane ticket, most of your travel price is fees, if you've noticed. From sneaky hotel travel fees to airport departure charges, tourist taxes, it can quickly increase if you've probably noticed, right? But in this episode, what I'm hoping we can do is break down exactly what these fees may cover. All right. So possibly just having an idea of where are these fees going? Like, what's the point to them? Why are we paying them? Besides the fact that we're complaining about them, right? Like, why does it have to be so friggin' expensive to
Yeah.
travel?
I mean, I can make this really quick and simple that people are going to hate anyway, and that's because obviously, technically, it's supposed to help out that country or that city or whatever
Yeah.
tourism, um, you know, tourism. What's the word I'm looking for? Economy. Their
Yeah,
Well, that's
tourism
yeah.
what we
Well,
economy.
think. I mean, because they'll
that's the
like
banner.
Yeah,
resort fees and then like destination fees for
exactly.
cities are super
And then
annoying.
just fees.
Because it's funny that we're doing this topic right now because just yesterday actually I heard on the news here in France that Spain has increased their tourism fees specifically on Airbnbs and
Oh,
hotels.
well, weren't they the ones shooting water guns at people? Yeah. So they're
Exactly,
like, we're
but
gonna
they
collect off of this if all these people are coming in and like basically making it unaffordable
Mhm.
for the locals.
Exactly.
We're gonna collect on this tourism.
But the problem with that is the people who own Airbnbs, hotels,
Yeah.
are very pissed because they have to, you know, get the burden of
But it
the
might be to discourage them from even doing Airbnbs to begin with. They probably want people to use the hotels that are already there and not rent out every
yeah.
space as an Airbnb because
Could be possible. Yeah.
then
It
it's just
will.
like a transient population and there's no locals and you just lose
Mhm.
all of that charm that you're traveling there for the first place anyway.
What are exactly the fees? So let's talk about the basics of that. What are the tourist taxes? Because we mentioned that we talked about tourist taxes. We talked about the fees and how that breakdown is. What are they? So the fees are hotels, your hotel fee, your flights, and attractions. Those additional fees when you purchase for those particular costs, what do they go to? Why do they exist? We mentioned that first, supporting local governments' budgets, right? It's supposed to go to the local economy. It's for maintaining infrastructure, right? For because of visitors, because there's more visitors to the country now, they have to improve roads, right? They have to have public transportation. They have to have waste services, more receptacles, out, trash, except for maybe in Asia where you have to carry your own trash, right,
That's
Benef?
only, I think, in Japan. The other countries don't.
Yeah, they
Korea
damn
did
sure don't
not
do
do
that in
that.
Korea. No,
No,
Korea
there's
don't
trash
do that.
everywhere. It was just
Because
like
I
a thing.
remember it being not the cleanest place when I would live there.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what it's supposed to be for, to help maintain these infrastructures
Makes
and to build,
sense. I mean, it makes sense.
right? That's what
But
it's supposed
again,
to be.
it's not only European that are doing this. America, they're doing it too. Because if you go to anywhere in New York City,
The
you're,
destination fee will be added
oh my
onto the
God, you
hotel
have
bill. Yeah, and it's a
city
nightly, sometimes
tax.
it's like a nightly fee. Super annoying.
Yes, yes. And I just noticed, I just came back from Switzerland and I noticed, one of my lodging tax was it was called the city tax, but also there was also a tax for electric vehicles
Yes.
So
because
you're like,
regular cars are not allowed in that
oh,
resort. So it's only electric type of buggy looking
wait,
vehicles
so
are
they're
allowed.
taxing the vehicle, but or
It just
there's a fee
said
that you have to
EV.
pay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it says EV. So I don't know
Well, they
why I
also
need
have
to
that
pay
in
it because
London,
I don't
Paul.
have it. Huh?
Do you remember they have that in London as well?
I
In
think there's a
London, they
there's a
actually
town
have a
that they're
carbon.
looking for.
They
Yeah,
have a
that's doing
carbon
it.
tax within London itself.
I,
Um,
the funny thing is I don't even, this is so bad of me. I rarely look and I don't think many people do when they're on vacation.
Yeah,
Of what all those things are. Do you
I
look
at the, I mean, obviously I look at my bill to make sure that I
as a
purchased
whole,
the things
I
that
look
I'm
at the
being
bill.
charged
Yes,
for.
yes, as
And
a
I
whole.
was recently in Denver at the Gaylord, and there was a resort fee. I mean, I was staying there on points. Yeah, I still, even when I'm staying on points, I'm still paying all the taxes and fees.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was annoying.
Yeah, and that's my point. That's my point.
Yeah.
Every time I use that's a good point you made too, Benef. Every time I use my reward points, and you pay for the hotel, because it happened, I used my reward points to go to Berlin, and I didn't have to pay for the room or anything like that. But as soon as I checked out, they were like, 25 euros and 60 cents. I was like, 25 euros for what? And they're like, oh, that's the city tax, this. And I'm like, then what's the sense of having reward points if you're not paying the whole thing?
And it'll be per night too. It's like,
and that's the thing. Yeah, a lot of those
price.
points you got to. Yeah, a lot of those points you got to check because they don't. You can't use them towards these taxes. And I mean, you have to remember your departure taxes, as you're mentioning, Paul. You know, hotels, airports are big, especially if you're traveling internationally. I'll never forget the time that Earl and I. It had been a while since we had gone back to Belize. It had been a couple of years, and with him being a Belizean citizen, we had flown a different airline at this time. It wasn't like United or something like that, like an American run airlines. It was something different. And so the taxes weren't included. So I had to pay a separate fee in US, but because he was Belizean, he had to pay in the Belizean dollar. So he had actually run back, and this was like, as we're going on to the flight, like he only had about 45 minutes. He had to go back to an ATM, pull out the US Belizean dollar, pay that, and run back to the gate.
He couldn't pay in US dollars. That's so weird. That's weird.
Yeah, normally people would want American dollars.
The US dollar,
As a US dollar is pretty strong.
Wild.
That's where it gets dicey because you're like, I have to pay an exit fee, you know, and you want to be getting out of the country, and like, what outrageous fee are they charging? And if you're not a local, you might not know that this is a bogus fee or it's being it's being raised.
Right.
I think in Europe, when you go into a hotel or something, you literally, if they quoted you this, that's what you're paying. In America, it's not like that. You know, you
often
don't
include quoted the taxes and fees in the nightly rate.
They include approximate. They don't include exact. Yeah. Okay. So in Europe, if it says, you know, when you do your calculation, it says, okay, for 3 nights, it will cost you 260 euros.
Yeah.
All the taxes are already included in that.
That's the same for like clothing, like everything's already included.
Yes, exactly. Clothing, food, everything.
Like, they give you the price before the tax. You get up there.
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of my European friends
I'm
get
sure.
annoyed. They're like, why are you telling me something costs $20.99 and then I get to the counter and it's like 33
like 17. Yeah, I know.
Right. Just tell me what I need to pay.
Online, yeah, a lot of the sites online, I know, especially now when you're trying to book a hotel or something like that, there is an option where you can click a box so that you can see what it will be with taxes, like estimated with taxes. Typically that price will be what it is. But a lot of times when you go to the hotel itself, you can ask them to go ahead and include the taxes, which I like to do, especially when I'm asking, okay, I know I'm going to have to leave a deposit. What's the deposit ahead of time? So that, you know, because depending on where you are, if it's a heavily tourist city or if it's something that's right in the center, you'll have to leave more than a deposit. Like in Chicago, we had to leave a $500 deposit versus if I was, in say Lubbock, I had, it was a $25 deposit for the hotel.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind leaving a deposit because I know I'm getting my money back. It's just,
I know, but some people are scheduling right down to the last dollar. So why I mention that, it might be something that you need to include,
to consider
the fact that that's going to be authorized. So you need to make sure that you allot for that amount.
And I don't. My fear is all the time whenever I'm booking hotels or anything like that in the States, is that I hate where it shows me the approximate cost. because I know I always have to round up in my mind. Right. Whereas if I'm traveling anywhere else across the world, I don't have to worry about that. If I'm in Sweden, I know if it says it's $359.16, I'm not going to pay any more over that unless I purchase something or whatever. Whereas in the States, that's how they get away with it, because of the laws. They could say, oh, we said it was approximate, so you can't, say anything about it or whatever. We don't really consider fees because, and I don't know why. In my mind, I don't.
Well, we just forget about them, but it needs to be included in your budgeting for, especially if you're.
But what's the best way to include it, though? What's the best way?
You have to do the research or just add a percentage overage for those incidentals like taxes and fees.
What do you feel is the government's responsibility on this whole topic? As far as sustainability on tourism, where do they stand in this whole situation?
I feel like there has to be some sort of regulation, because if not, the tourists are just going to come in like locusts and then leave, and the city is trashed. So people are going to want to go and see Venice. They're going to want to go and see Paris. It's not like they're not going to show up if you charge a fee that makes sense, so that they can keep their city looking amazing. Otherwise, it's going to be trashed. Who's paying for that? Tourists are just leaving. I mean, they don't care. They'll just trash the place. So, right. I mean, they need to capitalize on the fact that people want to go to these places in a way so that they can make tourism sustainable for the long term.
Is there a way to avoid different fees? Specifically, is there a credit card?
Why do we want to avoid?
Because you're not paying. That people don't want to pay.
Yeah, but I don't know that we can. I don't know that we can avoid that. I mean, we can't. I don't think it's fair for us to deny a country to not be able to capitalize.
Well, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said
pay for that.
That's not what I said. What I said was, can we, the consumer, avoid the fees? So what I mean by that is, I know there are certain cards sometimes pick up that fee. So the consumer, because that's who we're talking to right now, I would assume, so for example, if I have an American Express card, they will just charge you whatever it is that they charge, but they'll say we will pick up the tab of the fees.
Well, maybe, but you're probably paying an annual membership for that card.
Correct.
So
exactly.
But mental wise, okay, that's a 1-year fee that I pay versus doing. I mean, it works because I whenever I have a Visa, my Visa card. I'm just saying any of the cards. I just mentioned American Express, but I don't have an American Express, but I do have a Sapphire, and they do cover a lot of fees of some sort, but I do pay a hefty annual fee.
Yeah.
So maybe this is where that conversation comes in now, where places like now in Europe, UK. Is starting the ETA, or that electronic travel authorization that you were speaking on, Benef. The topic that you bridged just a moment ago is having that fee that you pay, which in twofold, it will go to the government, but also it stands as an immigration or a gate system, electronic gate system for travelers. So it's just the UK. Yeah, if for your information, as of January 8th of this year, 2025, the UK started their ETA, or the electronic travel authorization. It's a new digital registration system for travelers who don't need a visa to enter into the UK. So basically meaning that if, with us being from the United States, or you're from any one of the countries that don't need a visa, or also a visa, you can register ahead of time. Well, you'll have to register ahead of time before you're looking to travel to any of the UK or England, or any countries within the UK. And then once you receive your approval, then you're able to take that and your passport, and that should be able to get you, once you land, to be able to enter.
Yes,
you have to register now and pay a fee.
Yeah. We should note the fee is nothing astronomical. It's
right. It's
literally
like
like €8 or
yeah. No, I mean
it's
not. It's a tracking mechanism and it's a source of revenue. So,
but it is a source of revenue.
But so this is why.
Now, let me just finish this out. The old way was to purchase a plane ticket, show your passport at your UK destination, and then you're allowed into the country. But now this is supposed to alleviate most of that because now you have prior approval because you've gone ahead and done your clearance online. Now you can't fly. You must register and get pre-travel authorization to fly. So you're going to have that information, and it will be logged and tracked online. So not only will you have to have the approval with you, but they'll also have to be shown in the system.
They check it when you check in for your flight.
Right. For 6 months or less, short visits for tourism or business. So that's the new way. And that just started again as of January 8th. It is going to be coming to the rest of Europe, I believe starting in November. And I believe you could start pre-registering starting, I think, sometime in March. They said that you'll start to pre-register for that, but it actually won't roll out till November.
It wouldn't surprise me if credit card companies latch on to paying those fees for folks, because I don't pay any TSA fees, or what's that other card we have in America? The global entry.
Global entry.
All my credit card services pay for those fees annually for me. So that's why I say it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if it would be smart for credit card companies to use that as an incentive to have people, jump on board to their credit card for applications and stuff like that too as well. So
when don't we need an ETA? I think there's like a couple of parameters when you don't need one. I think we had a deal.
If you're a citizen of that country, you're traveling back, you probably would only need it. I guess if you already have a visa for some reason, because I was just gonna say, you already have a work visa, or you're studying there, and then you shouldn't need it.
This should probably roll out to me because I'm in that situation and I have no idea.
That's you, Paul, all day long.
I have no idea what I need, to be honest.
Well, you're already in the system. So
I have a visa,
but are we talking about UK or are we talking about other?
Well, both, because both is going to come up. Yeah.
Oh, but so EU citizens don't need the ETA?
So
they do or they do not?
No, they do not. If you're British I think if you're British, if you're British or Irish citizen, because it's part of the UK, you don't need one.
No. I think what Benef was asking was, does EU have to? Yes, they do.
They do. Yeah, they do. So you would have to get that to go there.
But if I was referring to the EU, what Trecia was talking about when they start their process.
Yeah.
The question is, people like me who have a visa, am I part of the system where I don't have to pay the fee for the visa?
Correct. Correct. You do not.
Wait, you said Ireland, but you mean Northern Ireland?
Northern Ireland. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes. The part that's
part of the UK. Yes. If you are a citizen of the UK, you need to make sure that you have proof that you are a citizen of the UK. You cannot.
You wouldn't be traveling without your ID. One would hope.
Yeah. But I think you have to prove that you're actually a citizen. Like they want you to bring a bill, or they want you to bring an address or something like that.
If you leave your own country, now you have to prove that you live there? What?
Yeah, you do.
Your passport is good enough. Your passport should be good enough.
Yes, and you should have a passport.
Okay.
And
I should not have to bring your
bill.
Electric bill. Good
well,
Lord.
I'm just saying there's some people that don't, but just saying for here in the United States is very different. People in Europe or that live abroad, the first thing they do, it's a driver's license and it's a passport. Here in the United States, you ask 10 people and maybe 2 of them might have a passport. Yeah. It's just not something that
our country is just so much bigger, so it's like.
But I have to caution people, because here in Europe, to be honest with you, the first thing that they normally ask you for is always a passport when you're either going to a hotel
for sure,
or anywhere.
Which they'll take a copy of it. Yeah, they will.
Yeah, I never do. But don't fret, because a lot of times hotels will be okay with you showing an ID. Because I personally don't like to give my passport to nobody. So I usually just show my visa or my regular ID and play stupid. I'm not telling everyone to do that, but that's what I do.
So be aware that, the taxes are not all that bad. They're there for the infrastructure of the government, hopefully, of where you're going to, and that they're being utilized. So if you're seeing construction where you're at, or, you're marveling at the fact of where you're visiting and how beautiful it is and how well maintained, that is probably your taxes. So you're definitely your taxes at work. Secondly, remember that the UK has started their ETA, or their electronic travel authorization. So you're going to need to make sure that you register online. And thirdly, relax, have fun, enjoy. Have fun choosing your destination. And I should say, fourth, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe if you like the information that you heard today. It was so great to talk to you guys, and I look forward to talking to you guys again. Thanks.